It's Power 106.
Yes,
it's
sir.
the Liftoff Show with the LA Leakers with Just Incredible and DJ Sourmilk. And man, this man needs no introduction.
Nah, bro. One of Chicago's finest MCs.
It's always great when he stops through.
Peace.
Common Sense.
Comm's
What's going
here.
on?
Yo, do people still call you Common Sense, or I mean, I know you lost the sense part of it years ago, but do people still call you that, or?
Some do. I love when people do it because it just shows me that they
ones.
They was day
around,
ones.
right.
Yeah, and yeah, plus I did initially choose that as my name, so it still has a resonance with me. Though I had to take the part sense off for some legal reasons, but. Overall, some people call me. They be like, "Calm sense," you know.
Yeah.
It give me a little like, yeah,
like okay, you know,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know what I'm saying? Yo, man, we're on album 13.
Jeez.
How crazy does that sound to you, man? Like 13 projects in.
I mean, I love the number 13 to be honest, but I never even really knew that this was my 13th studio album. Because I try not to count it because. I'm like, man, I look at some of these jazz artists and I'm looking and I see like a catalog of like 25, 30 albums. And I remember listening to the Isley Brothers talk about, when they was on their 25th album, I'm like, man, I want to create music for as long as, I'm alive. And I want to be like one of those jazz musicians that's like creating music in their older ages just because I love it. So I'm grateful for the 13, and I'm really like I do feel like this is an album where I've been able to put energy into it and be inspired and really focus on music,
right?
And not be doing a whole bunch of other things,
right? Lock in, right.
This is chapter 13 for you, man.
Can you talk to us about some of the artists and producers, some of the features and producers you worked with on this project?
Yeah, so the album is a Beautiful Revolution Part 2. So it's a Part 1 was created like from the space of it was a lot going on in the world during the political climate. So I kind of created an album that had a charge to it, and it's taking the pain, the anger, the angst that we all had and put it in the music. So Part 2 I created with some of the same producers / musicians, and that is Kareem Riggins, who's incredible producer.
Legend.
Yeah, and this brother named Isaiah Sharkey, who is a musician, guitarist from Chicago, and also an artist himself.
Okay.
Boom Bishop. We all got like this musical collective, and PJ is a vocalist that's on a lot of the songs. She's a songwriter and artist. We kind of created this sound. I feel like this fresh, because when you do have 13 albums, you kind of looking for, you want to do something new. You don't want to repeat the same thing. So, but you want to do something that's honest and true to where you are. Yeah. So we found like a sound that feels good. That's like that can go to different places. Like some of the songs one of the songs on the album, When We Move, featuring Black Thought, feel like some Fela, James Brown type stuff, funk. But then I have a song that's kind of bluesy, a song called Poetry, featuring Marcus King, who's a blues type of artist. And then, I'll just have a boom bap joint at the beginning of the album. It's a Beautiful Chicago Kid. And so I go to different places with the album, and the collaborators are, man, they just some incredible artists and musicians. And I'm realizing that albums, music is energy.
Yeah.
So what type of energy did I want to put out there? And I wanted to put some energy that was like, that was inspiring, that like brought some good life to people,
right?
Because people,
we need it.
We dealing with a lot of stuff, and still stay to the truth of what emceeing is to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know you said you don't like to. I guess you never really thought about the fact that it was your 13th album. I'm guessing you try not to think about like years and shit like that. I guess
I did. I ain't gonna front. I did like the other day was like, man, I'm coming upon 30 years.
That's what I was gonna say, man. You've been doing this for over 25 years. Been through a lot of changes in this music industry, man. I feel like you've probably seen it all, because where the music industry is now compared to where it was when you first came in, it's like day and night. Yeah. What are some of the changes? Like, I guess the biggest changes for you since coming into the industry to now.
Man, That's a great question. I think the biggest changes is like really me finding my space as far as like, okay, I don't listen to all the new music that comes out. And before I was just a sponge for everything that came out in hip hop.
Yeah.
But so I have to like really find the artists that inspire me and also still stay in tune with the things that got me here. Like meaning that, like I said, I've been digging into some 90s hip hop just because it got me here. And 80s, you know, but 90s was like a era that really kind of helped me develop and grow, and I saw things expand. So, and I think keeping my awareness of what's going on, because I look at music too the same way I do like food or things. I try to take in things that's good for my soul and my mind and my life.
Of course.
So I'm not taking in all the music that's out all the time. So I'm like, okay, well, what I know what's popping, but where do I create it? And I think, you know, what I've learned more than anything is, as long as I continue to stay humble and hungry and like working at the craft, there's a space. And also every album you create is like a piece of art that some will get to and some won't. Some albums people get to later in life. Some albums they like. I'm checking out new music now from artists that I love. I'm like, damn, I didn't even know that they did this album.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I remember an album from Marvin Gaye came out called "Hear My Dear."
Oh my God, that's incredible.
That's an incredible album, and it wasn't one of his most popular albums, but man, if you talk to people who love music, they like,
bro,
that's one of those.
That's one of those.
Those,
sure.
especially those first two songs, like the intro and then the song, dog, that's like two of the best first songs of any album ever.
So that's where I'm like creating from places where, man, I want the music to be timeless. I want the music to really resonate with me, and then, you know, people that I think love music.
Right.
And at the same token, I'm not gonna try to water it down, dumb it down, and I never have, to be honest. That's never been in my like psyche or my like. It was a time where I was like on a record label on Relativity Records, and they really was like, they were saying to me, man, Nas big, they got these records on the radio, you need a radio record. And I was like, yo, these artists that I really love and they on the radio, and I tried to do something and it just didn't work. And I was like, that was my lesson right there. To always.
A couple of them worked. Let's just be clear.
Yeah,
there's a few that worked.
Yeah. But I mean, but those that worked came from a place of just me.
Those were
You
true.
weren't aiming for that.
Those were
right.
Like,
that was true to you.
Yeah.
That was true to me. Like,
that's the
like
best.
just think, The Light was one of the records that
Oh my God, bro.
You know, it basically got to audiences that didn't know who Common was, right? I remember the moments of seeing little black girls coming up to me. I'm like, damn, they never knew who Common was because I was just an underground artist to them. And The Light did that. The Light got but that record was just me and Dilla I was writing something about somebody that I like loved and cared about and was coming up with ideas, using my creativity and imagination, and just was coming from a pure place. And it ended up being one of those records that I still can perform today, and it's one of the biggest records. Right. But I'm saying, for me, I ain't saying this for every artist, but for me, it's got to be something coming from a truthful place. It got to come from the soul for it to resonate. Some people are able to do other things, and that's not even a knock.
Right.
You know, that might even be a skill. But for me, it's like, this is where I got to come from for it to really resonate.
Right.
Was there I guess a time period in your career? Because I feel like there was, there may be more, but I feel like there was 3, you know, eras of Common where it kind of jumped up each time. You know what I'm saying? So the first one was obviously, you know, Resurrection, which was your second album. Yeah. That was when I feel like, you know, you were really on people's radar. You know what I'm saying? And then Water for Chocolate, that was like, I feel like another one where it was like, oh shit, like that was a different sound for you.
Yeah.
And then, you know, came B, which was like another, like, you know, I know there's albums in between all these albums, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I felt like those were like almost like milestones, man. And they opened you up to new audiences. Was there, you know, an era that you noticed, I guess, the biggest change?
I think each album you named was actually truly like advanced. They advanced my career or really like got other people who weren't up on me. Like Resurrection, I named that album Resurrection because I felt like I was coming from the dead. Like people didn't know who the hell I was, and I put out an album, and I'm thinking like, I put out an album, all people gonna know. Nah, that wasn't the case. So Resurrection definitely moved the needle and got people like aware of me. Like I remember Big saying something to me. I remember the moment when Nas, you know, I remember that moment when Nas was like, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, damn, Nas know who I am. You know, it just felt good, even though he was my age and all that. But he was obviously
he was a fucking he was huge. He was a huge star.
The guy, like he just was like that album. Illmatic changed hip hop. So
wait, so sorry not to cut you off, but so like what you just run into Biggie Smalls somewhere and he's like, oh yo, like I fuck with you.
Yeah. Well, funny enough though, Big and I we both were Source unsigned hype artists. So we were about to come out on our first releases were coming out on this tape that the label was doing for unsigned hype. But so Biggie might have known who I was, but for him to say, yo, this dude is dope. Like, you know, back in those days where you used to get quotes from other artists or whatever, he gave me a quote for my, you know, for like the press release and everything. And it just was like, man, this dude is, and you know, when he came to Chicago, he was like, come kick it, you know, and it was just, I was like, man, it feels good. You know, ultimately when you first starting to rap, you want to be acknowledged by the people you look up to.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, and those are artists that I really respected. So Resurrection did that for me. And then like Water for Chocolate really kind of set a tone where it was like, oh, this dude has something. He created a whole different type of sound between him and Dilla and Questlove. They did something else. And there was a lot of obviously Dilla music and just me wanting to create something different, like, you know, and that set a tone too, because then it was like, oh, more people know about me. Like I said, the light took it to different places. That was the first time, you know, I was on Power 106 getting to do the performance, the Summer Jam type of event. And I was like, okay, this is different. And then B was another level because you know, it was also like me growing as an artist, but also Kanye and his production and his wizardry and genius just really made the album be something that the masses could digest.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, in certain aspects, I was still, because I still was doing artistic, like MC type stuff, it wasn't like everybody was like, oh man, Common, even though that, you know, they would know the light or whatever. I'm talking about like from the hood, at most hoods. They wasn't like, oh man, I got that like Water for Chocolate. But with B, they was hearing the corners. They was hearing like Testify, and they was like, oh, this joint is raw. Like we messing with it. So Kanye kind of took me to the masses in that way.
Right.
And still was able to create from, you know, like one of the gifts I believe he has is he is true to music and to hip hop point blank.
Right.
But he also can take it to like levels where the masses will hear it, or he'll push the envelope and do something different. But it still will be some little moments where you feel like he might use some Gangstar like inspiration in it.
Sure.
And that's where I think a lot of his genius came in with the album B.
Bro, and speaking of that too, even with Donda, man, with the Donda album that just dropped, not to get too off topic here, but bro, I feel like I've been listening to that shit on repeat since it dropped, and every listen I'm like, damn, this shit just sounds better every time I hear it, bro.
Yeah.
Like the album is fucking incredible.
Yeah, I actually got to sit down and digest it. I haven't really dug into it yet.
Yeah.
but I do love
bro.
that. I love that Andre 3000 verse.
Oh, yeah.
Some already saying that's like one of the hottest album rap verses of the year.
Bro, that
just from hearing,
that is one of the dopest verses I've heard in a while. Like it's special, man. It's like so honest and so like pure and so clever, but still soulful and like he was saying some things in there that it made me think about my father. Like when you can touch like somebody and get them like
to think about
their family,
and connect to their
it's like that's the soul of music. That's what music can do.
Right.
And because he was talking about how when he used to cough when his mother would smoke a cigarette, and my father used to tell me when I was a little baby, he would light a cigarette and I would cough, but he said I was really small. He said I would light. I mean, even before he lit the cigarette, I would start coughing. So, like, just to let him know I don't like this.
Yeah,
man.
right.
But it's just those type of stories you relate to, and I think the soul of hip hop is in that. Like, it's in those stories. That's what resonated to me about Ice Cube and when America's Most Wanted and NWA came out and when Nas was talking on Illmatic, the stuff he was describing was, you could see those things, you could feel those things.
He's painted a picture.
Yeah, he painted a picture, and it was a soul to it, and that's what I know Kanye does.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that's one of my favorite parts about Donda is just the way he got the collaborative energies to really look inward, you know what I'm saying, and talk about perspective and life situations in a world where we're all talking about looking outward and like, what cars we drive and chains we wear and shit like that, and who's got the best house and shit like that. I thought like hearing Andre reflect and flashback like that, and other moments on the album too where artists even from Little Baby all the way up to Da Baby, and Jay's verse on the album. Like, I thought that was dope though, that it's a consistent theme on the album.
Well, I think that in itself, Ye is he definitely is a curator and a visionary, and like if he has a vision, and he invites you to be a part of it, you're going to fit into it or you're not going to make the album.
Right. Either you're going to get in line or get the fuck out.
Basically, that's what it comes down.
This is what we're here to do, and we're going to do this.
We're going to do this. And, he'll have you work through them verses and get it to the way he needs it and sees it. But I think it is powerful what you're saying to get us, because this was a time in life where we needed to go inward.
Absolutely.
Just to get in tune with ourselves and like in tune with God, in tune with our families, and just really think about the things that we value. And I think to ask somebody to look inward and deal with that, honestly, that's like A Beautiful Revolution Part 2. The new project it's about like going inside. It's about like, okay, like how do you connect with your higher self? Like and the power is in us,
right?
Like, and so and I don't want to do that like in no preachy way. At times it can come off preachy, but I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do, and that ain't what the music feel like. I kind of want to do it in a joyful way, in a way that feel
Uplift.
good. Yeah,
uplift. No doubt. Yeah. No doubt.
Speaking on Ye, we talked about Hove as well, and we talked about I guess each of these pillars, and by pillars I mean resurrection, I mean like Water for Chocolate, I mean you being introduced to new fans, and certain people not knowing you, certain people knowing you. But one thing is you've always been I feel like you've always been everybody's favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
True that.
You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye loves you, Hove loves you. The list goes on and on, man. All these people speak very highly of you. What's that feeling like, man? To because I know you're obviously fans of theirs as well.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And you spoke earlier on Big showing you love and Nas showing you love, and these are all. A lot of these people are people, people consider them the best ever.
That's Mount Rushmore to many people.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man. So I mean, that's got to feel crazy for you? You know what I'm saying? Like getting that respect from these people.
Oh man, I'll say this, like when Jay-Z mentioned my name in his rap, man.
Truthfully,
like,
I want to run like.
I said that was my cousin. Finally, one of my cousins was like, "Oh, you dope." Like he finally realized I was dope. just because Jay-Z said it. I was like, okay, yo, but I mean, my point is that to be respected by greats, like you said, people who are considered the greatest in a field, is it's an incredible like feeling, and it's like, you know, when an MC know, oh, this is one of them guys, like this one of them guys that I'm inspired by. It's like, you know, when you hear hoopers talk about certain hoopers that are really extra cold. We look at the ones we know, but then there's certain hoopers that's extra cold.
Yeah.
Now I love that feeling, and that's one of the things that keeps me going too. And you know, ultimately, I want to create things that I can leave behind that hundreds of years from now people are listening to. You know, and I look at things and say, man, what can I offer this planet, this pure and raw and real and creative, and it's adding on that, God willing, will be here for eons, for centuries. And, you know, because it's artists that we talk about, you know, whether they be visual artists, or I sit and say, man, I'm not just only trying to compete or go up against like these hip hop artists. Yo, I want to be like what Stevie Wonder and John Coltrane and Nas and Big and these artists, Kendrick and those artists are, you know, these guys will be remembered, and their music will be heard and taught. And look, the other day, man, this cat came to me on the plane and was telling me he was from Pakistan, I think. And he told me, I think he was from Pakistan. He said, man, I know you because they were using your raps to teach us English.
That's
crazy. Dude, that hit me hard, because I was like, you never know you writing songs.
That's
and they using them in class,
in curriculums
like
to
teach. So
wow,
I guess I'm bringing that up to say that I mean, ultimately, I want to be obviously respected. I love being, you know, considered one of the greats. But, you know, I got to work to get there and keep working and working to get better. And ultimately, I want to move people's spirits and minds and uplift in that way.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing for me. Like, I feel like this is God purpose music overall, and not even in a way that like the raw come through. Like it ain't gotta be like, when I say God, it ain't like, oh man, this is holier than now, or it's just like,
this is digestible for the streets.
Yeah,
like
for the
this
streets.
is given to us on a platter, you know what I'm saying? The things that we relate to, you know what I'm
Point
saying?
blank.
And it's like, there's people who, you know, some go to church. Every Sunday, some turn on Common's music. You know what I mean? Some might listen to Ye. Like we all have our word. You know what I mean? And I think that's definitely your contribution over the years has been that gospel in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I love that you saying that, because, you know, I feel like it's important for all of us to like find, okay, what am I purpose to do? Like what's one of the things I'm on this planet to do? And I feel like that is one of the things that I found myself being purposed to do. And I was playing my music in the studio for some of my like friends who work with me and younger. They was all drunk and nice, and they was like, this like gospel music to us, but they was rocking to it, dancing. And what I took from that was that, man, it was music that made them feel good, feel inspired. You know, certain music lifts you up, and that's, like I said, once again, you know, it's the lift off. We lifting up.
Let's go.
Look at him. That's a professional right there. That is a motherfucking professional.
Com, I want to ask you about, you know, because, you know, like Milk brought up, you know, close to 30 years in the game, 13 albums. I want to talk to you about the music business, because Even as we were going over our questions for this interview, it just brought to my mind how I was watching Rhyme or Reason. It's on Netflix. Well, you know, that classic, you know, hip hop movie from damn near 20 years ago now. And the frustrations of artists were the same back then as it is now, you know, and it's almost like us, how we're like, damn, I wish they would have taught us about taxes in school, or I wish they would have taught us about mortgages or things like that. And I feel like there's not a lot of places for artists to go. And you mentioned, you know, early on, was it Relativity or what was the
Relativity?
Yeah, you know, record labels. And should artists be signing deals now, and how aware of their business should they be? And I think it's important for someone like yourself to kind of kick that knowledge, man, because there's a lot of people listening that are up and coming MCs and want to do this for a living. Yeah,
man. I think when you think about the concept of the record business, and I make a record and someone else owns the masters, it's a real like broken concept. It's like a twisted in a way. Yeah. But that's the way it's been. That's what we always known. And even myself for a long time was like, I want a record label. I want to be signed to a record label.
Right, because it's like a machine.
It's a machine,
right?
And you could utilize that machine. But I think the most one of the most important things that I think artists have to do is understand like that you are the source and you have abilities to. Okay, if you decide to partner with a record label, you also got to keep, you know, your business flowing in other areas. Use the label to use their marketing departments, use their, you know, promotional departments and radio departments, or things, or, you know, whatever is, you know, social media work, however they work their marketing. But then you still got to go out and team yourself up with the agency that's going to get you performances. Right. Team yourself up with an agency that will get you like get your music placed in films and
films. Right.
Yeah, even beyond, like, one of the things I had, you know, after getting the opportunity and blessings to be able to act and do different things in films, I'm like, wait, some of this music I need to get placed in other things because it's introducing people to my music that wouldn't know it too sometimes, you know? And so I'm saying, not only getting playlit, like the label can do that too, but then it's times where you can have like a team that helps get your music to movies, TV, and film.
Bigger picture.
It's, do you know how many
video games and things like that, right?
Bro, you know how many like records have broke off of like, it's an artist from England, Michael, I can't pronounce his last name, but his song was at the beginning of this show called Big Little Lies. Because it was on that, man, his plays went up like millions and millions, and more people requested them. So I'm basically saying, any artist, think of yourself. If you decide to partner with a label, you don't have to do that, but a label can benefit you in certain ways, and you see what that is and know what it is. Know that, like, they're not getting over on you. This is what you agreed to, and this is what you'll do. But you also have other opportunities to create business for yourself by creating an infrastructure, publicity, all that, having a publicist, all that stuff matters, man. Wow. And even, you know, down to having, you know, whether it's a social media team, whether having your own marketing team, merch, all of it. Right. It's like I had to grow into that because I came into the business. I just wanted to rap. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be out there, you know. And then, you know, I was like, wait, I ain't even able to pay my rent. Like, first album, I'm trying to pay my rent, like, you know. Wow. And it's, you know, it's times even beyond that where it was like,
then it was, can I borrow a dollar for real?
Right.
It was for real, can I borrow a dollar?
For real, bro. And then, you know, it wasn't only that album where it was times where I was struggling and figuring out business. Then, you know, I had to understand that, man, I got to take care of business. I have to be aware of business because I'm an adult, and I got to take care of myself and my daughter and my family, and I want to live good, and I can make this a career if I approach it with some intelligence and think about strategies, and also build together a team that can help me.
It's important. The team is important.
The team is important because it's going to be some people that are more talented than you and more experienced than you in certain areas and have different skills. Like, that's why, you know, we got brother George back.
Yeah,
you know,
film.
he
Exactly.
doing with his film. He filmed.
Absolutely.
Like my concept about building a good team is like, it's like building a house. Get the best electrician, get the best plumber, get the best, architect.
Right.
If that's not your thing, don't try to fix.
That could be corny. Quick.
It could go
Nah,
back.
I don't know. Listen, bro, I'm Mexican, dog. My dad, he'll try to
does
do
it all.
everything, bro. And he honestly don't know how to do shit, but he'll try to do everything, bro. He'll try to do everything.
I feel that.
You know
But
what
it
I'm
don't
saying?
always work though.
Yeah,
Doing pops.
yeah.
I feel that.
Listen, it'll give out in a few weeks, but it's gonna work for a little bit.
I respect the self.
You know what I'm saying?
What's it called? The self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still feel in mastery. That's one of the reasons people used to ask me, man, are you gonna produce? And I never wanted to like do beats because I just felt like I wasn't gonna master it. And I'm like, I gotta master these rhymes. I'm working to master this. And that wasn't the only thing I could master, but it was like, man, I'm sitting here next to Jay Dilla, No ID,
Jeez.
Like Kanye, Questlove, and
Great.
Pharrell, these cats. I'm gonna bring a beat, and I could bring a sample.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll bring some records to you because I know what that is. But the artistry of chopping it up and making it something special, I leave that to the masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I wanna talk about this a little bit because you had a Jadakiss bar in the freestyle you did for us.
Yeah.
Since the verses that they did, Jada pointed that out a lot. How important not rapping over your vocals
Right.
is. I've been to plenty of Common shows and I don't remember hearing you rap over vocals.
Yeah.
How important is that to you, man? Rapping over like a performance track as opposed to just rapping over a song.
It would throw me off trying to rap over my vocals, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I feel like I would be cheating the audience, and I'm a person that believes like when I perform, I want to give you my everything. I want you to be like, man, that was amazing, and I'm moved. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do something. I had fun, like I felt it, and there's no way me rapping over my lyrics that's already recorded. Could you feel that, like at that level?
Yeah.
And you gotta. For me, my first concert was the Jackson 5, and then I grew up seeing KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane, and then even to the fast forward to soul singers like Erykah Badu, people who perform. So I came up thinking about performing, and really, I can't rhyme over something that that's already recorded. In fact, I think it's just like I want to give the audience everything. That's why at times I bring live musicians, and most of the time I do that because I feel like even that gives like you can improv, you can go different places with it. But even if it's just me and a record, I'm gonna rock it, and that's what it should be. Now, I seen Snoop just do that. He and I performed at Dame Lillard's wedding, and
that looked like a lit
Bro,
wedding.
yeah,
that wedding was incredible, bro. It was
Yeah.
like, shout out to Dame too. Dame can rhyme, man. I respect him, and I was watching Snoop, and me and DJ Dummy was like, Snoop is hip hop, man.
Right.
He rocked it. It was just the record. It was the DJ and Snoop, and he just was rocking the crowd. And it just wasn't only just because he had hits. It was like he knew how to MC.
Right.
He knew how to MC,
That flow.
and so for me as an MC, I can't rhyme over a recorded record. Like,
I'm glad you said that. What in your opinion, and honestly, the answer might be in the last question I asked you, but what is the difference between a MC and a rapper?
Well, I think, for me, I think MCing, when I learned what an MC, a master of ceremony, is someone who can come into any place and actually activate you through what they do on the microphone. So that means they will move you you might not be ready to be moved, but they will move you because they have that type of persona. They know what to do. They have the gift. It's a gift to be an MC.
Yeah.
Because you can take an audience and take them on a ride. You could take them to different places, and you get them with you. You get them to participate with you. I've been at places where people frowning up at me. They like, we don't want to see this common cat. And I'm just like working it, like boom, like I'm about to MC, and just I start freestyling. I start doing this part of the performance. I add some different like story to it, and you win them over.
Yeah.
I've had the MCs can like I've had to rhyme in churches. I rhymed at weddings. I rhymed in different settings where that rhyme, by the way. I rhymed in churches, weddings. I rhymed in different settings. Anyway, but I've been in those places, and you just gotta take control of the situation. It's what a great MC does. A great master of ceremony. They can get that place going even when the people not feeling alive.
Yeah.
And and I think that's a talent that should be appreciated, because a lot of, when we talk about great artists and great, rappers, or, because you could be a rapper and be an MC too, to a certain degree, because, and, when we talk about these great artists in hip hop, that aspect is something that I think we don't bring up, because, we mostly go on the records. We go on what we hear on records, which is dope.
Right.
Like, because to make a record, it takes a lot to make a great record. But I also believe live performances is important too.
Absolutely.
And it's part of the completion of being a great artist and great MC.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and listen, I feel like I've grown as a performer. Like some of my first shows, I still was about rhyming, because I grew up like just rhyming and trying to light the crowd up. But I had to learn what to do to make a show, and I started adding different concepts to my show and things. So I believe, every artist can have some room for growth, but I think one of the starts is to not just rap over your record, or not just throw the record and just say something and be walking back and forth on the stage. It's more to it. It's more things you can do as an artist. And the greats that we've watched, and the people that we label as great artists, they know how to perform.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
They definitely know how to do that. Going back a little bit, do you have a better chance at beating Dame one-on-one in basketball, or does he have a better chance of beating you? Yeah, out-rapping you on the, you know what I'm saying?
I got a better chance at beating him in hoop. And he would say, hell no. And he'd be like, it's no way in hell. Like, but I got confidence in my hoop game.
Yeah, okay.
And I got a lot of respect for him as an MC.
He is really dope as an MC.
Dope.
He is
he's
really dope.
And I respect him. Like, it ain't like he good as an athlete. He's a good rapper. He's a good
absolutely.
MC. Yo, but I'm telling you, if you put me up with anybody, I feel like I'm gonna win. Like, on the MC side, like that's what I'm talking about. Like,
okay, I thought you were talking about the basketball side.
No, I mean, I definitely can win it.
Two out of three. Dave,
that would be a tough one. I mean, that would be tough, but I'm a bet on myself. That's
what about this? What about you versus Barack? Because he's talking about he owes you a one-on-one, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you giving him? Listen, dog. That's Mr. President.
Game
Bro.
to 11
You giving
by
him that
one.
work?
What's the score?
I would say 11-2. I got him.
Okay.
Yeah, you ain't gonna cut him no slack for being Barack.
Why would I cut him slack? For what reason?
I
got him on the court. I'm gonna let him have the business, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna give him the work.
Chi-town.
Yo, baby, I'm gonna kill her on that court, bro. That's what I do. Yo, that's what I do. Like, you remember he hit that shot and he was like, this is what I do. Well, that's what I do.
He said 11-2, bro. You give him 2 buckets.
Yeah, man.
It might be 1 bucket. That might be from, the 3
be
counts is 2. You know what I'm saying? When you go to 11, the 3 counts is 2.
Exactly.
What about, I don't know if you've been approached to do a versus. Is there any candidate who you think would be an entertaining versus?
Man.
Shout out to Swizz. Shout out to Timbaland on what they designed,
shout out
man.
to them. Yeah, they did some great things for the music.
Absolutely.
For the,
celebrations.
for the art. I mean, I kind of sometimes feel like Black Thought would be a good one, or Most Def. You know, even on higher levels, I think, not higher levels meaning, but somebody with records that are bigger, but I still wouldn't, you know, I would go up against Nas. I'm like cool with, but Black Thought and Most feel like, I feel like we've kind of came up together, and it would be a good one.
Right.
That'll be crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, for verses, you know, obviously it's records, so some people just got bigger records.
Right.
But I feel like if we just go combine verses with now what they doing, letting people rhyme and blah, I'm going for it with whoever. Like, I'm with it. Like,
anybody could get it.
Yeah.
Anybody. I like that.
I mean, but that's the spirit of what we should have as MCs.
Course,
you know, like
yeah.
that. You know, I respect obviously all these greats, all the people I mentioned, and even like the new artists from the G.O.A.T to Kendricks and my home guy Chance the rapper. All these cats is dope. But you know, but the spirit of MCing is like, yo, I'm the dopest. Let's go.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
bro.
rock,
Let's
right?
go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Braggadocious, man.
Yeah.
So going back to that Andre 3 Stacks verse, man, you know, he says that, you know, people that inspire him and artists that he'd like to work with is everyone from Kendrick Lamar to Tyler the Creator, Lil Baby. Who is there some artists that you would still like to collab with, and who's inspiring you?
Man, Kendrick is one. I definitely love. I think Tyler does some. When it comes to performances, he is a great performer.
Right.
Yeah, I like the artist No Name. She's from Chicago.
Yeah.
She's dope to me. Those are some of the artists that I like. The cats from Griselda too, like, and yeah, like, and one of the cats' name, I think Mac Homie or something. He's dope, but them Griselda cats is raw. They definitely. I like listening to their music.
they
It's
raw
fun.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are some cats I would love to work with. But Kendrick is at the top for me, and No Name.
Okay. Gotta happen.
Yeah.
Gotta happen.
Yeah.
Did you
Mandatory.
go to any of the listening sessions? Any of the Donda listening sessions?
No, I didn't. I missed the one in Chicago.
Okay, I
and,
thought maybe I did see you at that one.
Yeah.
Not physically, but like on, you know, Instagram or something.
Yeah, but you know, I got super love for Ye, because that's my brother first of all,
Absolutely.
first and foremost. But I love that he just always is innovating, always is pushing the envelope, expand. When we talk about expanding the culture, he does it, and man, he does it unapologetically, and it really ends up being something that's benefiting the art form.
Right.
And you know, when he came out with 808s, people was like, "Oh man, this is different." But look how it changed what people did.
Bruh.
You know,
Real.
and for him to have the courage to do an album that was gospel, like, it's like, man, that's he expresses where he is. He's a true artist, one of the greatest artists the planet has ever seen. And yeah, man, I hope we work together at some point soon. We talked, and it was like he had heard the first song Imagine off the new album. He was like, "Yo, Rosh, what's up? You snapping? Let's go." And I'm like, I want to get up with him when the time is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, man.
Has there been anybody that you've worked with like that? Because I don't know what your guys' dynamic is in the studio, but I mean, I could only imagine, because I seen a clip of T-Pain the other day. It might have been yesterday or today that I saw it, and Pain was like, yeah, he was like, Ye stole one of my lines. He was like, the Winslow line or something like that. You know, he was like, you know, I said it to Ye, and he looked at me and was like, nah, that line is corny. You know, he was like, and then he ended up using it or something. And I was thinking, I was like, damn, I wonder, like, has there been times when you said something in the studio and he's like, hey, bro, that shit is whack, dog. Like, switch that up. Will he keep it that real with you?
Oh,
like,
man, he will. Yo, look, that dude will not hold his tongue for, I don't care who you are. Like, he will not. Look, I known this guy since he was 19 years old, and he would come to my basement. Now, this is when I'm like out with the song, out with Resurrection, like, I'm just, you know, getting it out there for the city.
Yeah, you're killing it in
Yeah,
Chicago at that time.
We working on One Day It All Makes Sense, me and No ID, and Kanye coming by my crib. He going by No ID's crib, coming by my base. he would come and talk so much shit that my homies would be ready to fight. But he was just speaking his truth. Right. Like if he ain't like the shirt I had on, and that shirt is whack, man. What you doing? Like but I ain't take offense to it as much as, some of my guys who didn't know him was like, why is he talking like this?
Right.
But I kind of found it funny, man, more than anything. And I ain't take myself too serious. So I was like, whatever, it's cool. But he for surely throughout sessions and was like, yo, nah, man, that's weak. Oh, no, don't do that. Nah, change that. Oh, nah, why'd you do this? Why would you do this album cover? No, this is like, he was mad about Finding Forever album cover. He was like, what the hell is this? Like, because it's on his label. He like really want everything particular. And I was like, man, it was some deal I had that we ended up doing that cover. Anyway, he is very honest with you, and you need that. Like
right.
That's what
you need. Someone like that.
Like in one of the rhymes I was kicking, I said, my man Murray said, never take your shine off. Like that's one of my best friends I grew up with. He always telling me like, yo, he gonna send me the G.O.A.T on L.A. Leak, cause he gonna send me the Black Thoughts and be like,
right.
Where you at? What's up?
Wow.
Or be like, man, that rhyme ain't. Come on, like, and I got close friends like that my guys Rasan and Monad that I grew up with that will, and you need that. And Ye was that guy in the studio. So to have a creative person that's gonna give you that is really, it's strong. It gets you to the best.
What was there ever a time though where you were like, hey bro, like chill, dog, like where you almost got offended? Like, damn, dog, that shit kind of hurt.
I mean, maybe when I didn't look. I was nominated for 5 Grammys the same year he was nominated. And he won, and I didn't win any.
Yeah.
And John Legend won. So it was like our whole good music. At that time, it was me, John Legend, and Kanye was pretty much good music.
Yeah.
And we had our Grammy family party, and he was like, kind of like, yeah, I told you not to come out the same time I came.
Shit.
I'm like, yo, bro, like,
it's
too soon, bro.
It's family, but damn, bro. Shit.
Like, come on, man. Like, damn. But the dope thing was the next morning, he was calling me like, come on, Rosh, let's get back in the studio. Man, we gonna let them know.
Right.
And the next year, we won a Grammy for this song Southside, which was like a raw hip hop. We just going back and forth, and we won a Grammy for it. I was like, man, this is my brother. Like he knew I was down. I mean, he had to talk some shit for a minute, but he knew I was down, and he also just was like, look, we got the capabilities to do it. Let's do it. And I got to say I learned a lot, though. I'm older than Ye, and I also had been out before Kanye came out. I learned a lot from him, and beyond just the music. You know, it was for me just almost the power of thought, like and belief was one of the things that I was like, this man is really speaking his life into existence.
I think we all learn that from Ye, whether you know him or not.
Yeah.
I think we all get that from him.
Yeah, and it was something to see him exercise those things and even see him work through certain things and then proclaim it and declare it and see it happen. And for me, it was a good lesson because I did believe in myself, but I didn't want to say it all the time because I felt like it could offend people or blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about not on the microphone rhyming. I'm talking about just being in person, saying, man, this is dope, man, check it out.
Right.
Like just having the confidence enough to say that and not feel like you offended somebody. But Ye was like, ain't nothing better than this. Listen. And I was like, man, I mean, at a certain point, people can't get offended of you loving what you do and you loving you.
Right.
Yeah,
you got to believe in yourself, man.
Yeah.
Yo, we appreciate your time, bro. Listen, A Beautiful Revelation 2.
Beautiful Revolution, yeah.
Revolution 2.
Revolution.
Yeah.
Bro, what can you tell people about this album? Why do they need to listen to this album? And why is it important to you?
I think it's some of the best music I've been a part of, and it has I think it's really a fresh sound that, like I said, if for all that we've been experiencing and going through, it's just it's that jolt, it's that light that we need. and it just is hip hop. It's hip hop, but it's in its own soulful expression of it. And yeah, I think music speaks for itself so much, and the music is beautiful music. And I think it touches the soul, uplifts the soul. So yeah.
Dope, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank
As
you,
always, man. We've told you this a million times. It's always open door policy.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks,
for you up here, man. Anytime you want to come up here and talk about whatever. If you want to call Barack Obama out, what I'm saying? You want to whatever you want to do, bro. It's open
the place
door
to
for
do
you.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to
Thank
come up
you,
here, get
thank
some
you,
bars
thank
off
you,
your
guys.
chest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm definitely I want to come back for more bars. This got me geeked up.
Yeah, bars are back. Bars are back here. Motherfuckers got to bring their A game.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
all
sir.
the time. Common, thank you, man. You know what it is. It's the LA Leakers. It's the Liftoff Show on Power 106.
Thank y'all. Love.